What's up, guys? I am back for another video, and this one is especially pertinent to me right now. We're talking today about what to do if you've maxed out all of your design slots. So all those spots that you have for uploads on Merch by Amazon. Now, as you guys can see here on my screen, as I pulled up, I am still on tier 500 and I have 491 out of 500 designs. I had like 498 a few days ago, but I had a few taken down finally. So right now, I've for the last about week and a half, 2 weeks, I've just been working on kind of the other things that you can do. And I just wanted to give you guys the 4 things that I think you are best utilizing your time with when your slots on Merch by Amazon are actually filled up. So the first one, I'm just going to go through these really quick for you guys. It's a pretty simple topic, but still important nonetheless. And I've done a video on this in the past, but this one I just added my additional experience that I've gained in the last month now that I'm at tier 500, whereas the last video was only about tier 100. Now, this video, by the way, is probably going to be most pertinent to people that are, either tier 100, tier 500, maybe even tier 10, tier 25. You have your slots already maxed out. So, yeah, the first one is going back through all of the designs that you guys have listed. So a big thing that I've been thinking a lot more about now is that, a lot of people will throw their designs up and then that's pretty much it. They don't think about them again. They just, get excited if one sells. That's pretty much it. And, I'm honestly guilty of that as well, just throwing the designs up and not really looking at them again unless they're performing really well. But really, half the work is the research and design phase, and then the other half of the work is actually the maintenance, as my buddy Chris put it. Going back through those designs and seeing why they're not performing, okay? Now, when you go back in, there's a few things that you're normally looking for. One is obviously the design. Now, I can tell you guys from my personal experience at tier 500, looking back at some of my early designs, I'm like, oh my god, these are miserable. The design quality is terrible. At the time I was just doing them on my own, throwing stuff up and just seeing what worked. And not too happy with them. So in some cases, you guys are going to find, designs that you don't like. And so maybe you're going to tweak the design and relist it. But more likely than not, you have hopefully good quality designs. So if you do have a good quality design or something you think is good, then the next step is really going to be to go over the title, the keyword optimization, and the pricing and bullet points. So those are kind of the core things that you want to look at. So for example, let's say you did a t-shirt and the original niche that you targeted was hunting, like a very general niche, and it's not performing well for you. Well, in that case, you might want to think about some of the sub niches, and that's when you do something called niching down, which is taking more of a deep dive into that niche and seeing if you can find other ways to target people that may be searching for your shirt. So I'm mostly going to be talking in this video, but if I can find any good ones, I will show you guys some examples. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of the big thing, is just taking a look at what the market's doing for pricing and obviously changing out designs or anything else. So let's see if I can find an example here. So for example, what I'm talking about is, so right now we're in a very general niche, that we're in the hunting niche. Now, let's say you did something like, if it loads, okay, so this t-shirt, for example, right here, guys, is obviously geared towards hunting. They put in deer hunting. Let's say, now in this case, this t-shirt's actually performing pretty well. It looks like, just because it's on the first page of results for hunting. But let's say your t-shirt's doing horribly. What you're probably going to want to do is come back in here and say, okay, hunting or deer hunting is, maybe too saturated. Can I retarget this and focus it on a sub niche? So maybe there's, a certain type of deer or a certain seasonal deer. I'm not a big hunter, so I can't speak on that, but you might want to dig into that and see how else can I target them? And yeah, pretty much just kind of change up both the title, maybe even the brand, and then also, your bullet points to hopefully retarget that person, and maybe even the description. And obviously, like, again, guys, maybe you had a shirt in the past that was performing super well. This is also a chance to have some time to focus on, bringing that shirt back. So maybe it was performing well and all of a sudden it's not. Well, now that your slots are filled up, you have the time to go back and say, okay, why is this not performing well? Well, maybe everyone else in the market has dropped their price. So we're priced at $19.95. The rest of the market's at, $16.95. So that's obviously a key sign to you that you need to change up your pricing. So that's the first one. So going back through all your existing listings and optimizing pricing, bullet points, keywords, etc. So that's number one. Number two is something that I've been playing around with a lot more, and that's actually listing your products to other platforms. And I've been, kind of experimenting more with specifically eBay, Etsy, and Seller Central main page. Spending a lot more time on there with my merch t-shirts, and I'm gonna have a lot more videos about that and expanding off to other platforms in the future. But I'm still doing some work myself, and so I don't want to give you guys any information before I've at least got something back in that. But that being said, if your guys' slots are filled up on merch, obviously there are tons and tons of other platforms. There's obviously the big ones like eBay, Etsy, Seller Central main page, but there's a lot of other ones that, are more experimental. I mean, a lot of people in merch are talking about Redbubble, Teespring, but maybe even creating a Shopify store and, putting your shirts on there and building a brand around it. Walmart, applying to those programs and trying to get into those. Facebook Marketplace, that's another one that I don't see anyone else talking about yet, and something that I have actually on the horizon that I want to experiment with a little bit more. So this is kind of your chance. Again, like, the big thing here is if your time's precious. If you're maxed out and you have great designs and you feel like all your designs are optimized well and hopefully they're selling and you're just waiting for that tier up, then you can always focus on the other platforms and start learning about those. Get your account set up, whatever it is. So that's number two. Starting to cross list to other platforms. Number three is to keep designing. So keep doing research, keep designing. Probably, honestly, the most important, if your focus is on the merch platform, look, there's always going to be room out there to find new niches, to grow. And especially as, most people that are going to be watching this, we're in the early stages still of merch, in the US and globally. So I think now is the best time to be doubling down on the merch platform. And yeah, if you have time, expand off and do all these other things. But look, at the end of the day, focus on designing, focus on finding those niches. And then, the other things are going to be there. So I think that's probably the number one most important, is to really still focus on designs and research as well. But the final tip, which I kind of already alluded to, is if your slots are maxed out, you can go back and look at the t-shirts that are about to come down in the near future. Just go ahead and take those shirts down. If they only have like 30 days and they haven't sold a single one, or you think it's just, miserable design, like, don't be afraid to take old designs down. Now, another thing that you can do is to take down the variations. So for example, like when I was trying to max out my slots, I went ahead and used Merch Buddy to actually duplicate my listings onto different products. So taking, a product that's designed just on my t-shirt and then adding it to sweatshirt and long sleeve shirt. Well, that's great. Now I have my slots maxed out, and, to be honest, it's summer when I'm recording this. So my long sleeves and my sweatshirts are not selling. So it's probably a good idea to go back and take those ones down and then fill those slots back up with t-shirts, which kind of sell, year round. So that's just kind of my final piece of advice, to go back and, weed out kind of the ones that are duplicate listings just on different products and focus down on just adding more, t-shirts or more of the things that are selling for you. Maybe it's pop sockets, whatever it is. So anyway, guys, that was a quick one. I hope that was, helpful. Let me know if you guys are maxed out, what tier you're on. I'm Chris, as you guys can see. Had a good month. I am on tier 500, 491 live, and we're about to hit 100 all-time sales. So it's crazy. The last 2 months, literally, I've done almost 50% of my total sales on merch, just the last 2 months. So it's been wild. But anyway, I'll have an update on the end of the month, so I'm not going to go too much into the numbers, but let me know what you guys thought of this video. Link to the Facebook groups down below and any other tools that I talk about in my other merch videos, but drop a thumbs up. Leave me a comment if you like this content. What else you want to see, on my channel in regards to merch or other e-commerce. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. So that being said, we'll see you guys in the next video.